Hello, and welcome to my channel. It's the Network Specialist. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. Everything I will discuss in this video is alleged and in my very own opinion, used for entertainment purposes only. Okay? Today I will be doing a recap of Married to Medicine Season 12, Episode 1, Cocktails and Polo. Now, for those of you who have been watching my channel, you know that this is one of the shows, the reality shows that I do cover. However, I did state that I am trying to move away from recapping shows because it does take up a lot of time. And I prefer to just do celebrity news and gossip. But since I'm already doing this show, I'm going to kind of see how it goes. Okay. I just watched episode 1 last night because for some reason I was not looking forward to watching the show. I've just been kind of bored with the show. Last season wasn't really that good. So I was kind of going back and forth about whether or not I still wanted to cover the show. However, I'm going to let you guys decide if we continue to recap this show because if I don't get much traction or interest in the show, then I don't have a problem with letting it go. Okay. Because at this point, honestly, I do see a lot of recycled storylines. Like Quad is now using Sweet Tea's storyline, and then the whole beef with Dr. Jackie and Toya, that's old. Like, I thought that that happened a while back. So we're just recycling beefs at this point. So Toya did mention that she has moved again, and obviously we're not surprised. And she did say that, you know, she designed her house from the ground up and she designed everything herself. And it looks like she actually purchased this home. She said everybody thought she was going to be renting forever, but it looks like she has purchased this home. I thought she had purchased the last home. I guess I was wrong. I don't know if I'm missing something, if this is the same house or whatever, and she's just talking about it. I don't know. They do have a lot of recycled storylines. So her purchasing a new home could still be a recycled storyline. However, one thing I can say, they make jokes about Toya, but obviously she has the better husband, because her husband, Eugene, is willing to work hard to provide this lifestyle for his family. I ain't mad at that. Y'all can say what y'all want about Toya, but she got a damn good husband, okay? He makes sure his home is taken care of and his kids are living a great life. And I did see where her oldest son is starting to drive. Oh my gosh, the boys look so big. It's like from the last season, they just went from, you know, babies to teenagers. They just grew up so fast, especially over this, last season where, we didn't see them for a while and now they're back. It seems like the boys really did grow up. Okay. Now, I am liking the heat that Simone and Toya is bringing to the show because y'all already know I really don't see it for Quad. She just seems too fake, too selfish. I just don't see it for Quad for whatever reason. Okay. So in this new season, it appears that Jackie and Toya are going to be going back and forth, and Simone and Quad are still going to be going back and forth like they did last season. Okay. Nothing new there. Although Simone is contradicting herself because, she did say that after New York, which I'm assuming is the reunion, she couldn't get out of bed for 2 days. But you come right back with the same energy. Like, make it make sense, Simone. Like, you're contradicting yourself. Like, which one is it? Like, were you really that embarrassed that you couldn't get out of bed 2 days, but then you come back with the same energy? I don't know. Now, when it comes to Toya and Jackie, I don't blame Toya for calling out Andy Cohen. Um, I'm sorry, for calling out Curtis on Andy Cohen Live. This whole situation got me really laughing my ass off, if you want to know the truth. When Toya said that Curtis didn't speak to her, and Dr. Jackie stated, he might have felt a way because of what she said on Andy Cohen Live. And I know that Dr. Jackie don't want the cracks in her and her husband's semi squeaky clean image to show, because before the episode with his alleged cheating allegations, they had a pretty squeaky clean, reputation until he cheated and it got out. But if you've ever wondered how a best friend ends up sleeping with her best friend's man, this is how it starts. The way that Curtis pulled Toya down on his lap, that was so disrespectful. And obviously, he probably had been drinking and he didn't realize exactly what he was doing. But the real him came out once he started drinking. And that was very inappropriate. And if I were the other husbands, like, I wouldn't trust him around my wife either, because that was very questionable behavior. And that's how shit gets started. And then you wonder how you got there. It definitely starts with those kind of gestures that Toya pointed out, you know, when he pulled her onto his lap. And then he had the nerve to tell Jackie that Toya sat in his lap. I don't believe that for a minute. You've already been, proven to be a cheater, allegedly. Okay. So you've already lost your credibility. So Toya also brought up the fact that she read about Dr. Heavenly's son online, but Dr. Heavenly hasn't mentioned anything about it. And then she also went on to say that Dr. Heavenly didn't come to the Polo event because she didn't want to talk about her son. Now, I know that Toya and Dr. Heavenly have always had a little thing. They've always had their back and forth, but I do think that Toya needs to wait on Dr. Heavenly to speak on her son before she starts speaking on it. That's just my own personal opinion. It is a little disrespectful. Wait till she tells you, about the situation, and then you guys can go from there. And that's basically, Simone did confirm that it is true. It did happen, but I don't believe she went on to talk about it. But I don't know, because Dr. Heavenly has made a lot of enemies. So, like, I don't know how she thinks that she can speak on everybody else, but no one can speak on her family. That's why she's, out of Dodge right now. It's because she doesn't want that same karma. She doesn't want people speaking on her. Okay. So, you know, I don't know if that's why she became a friend of the show, or, I don't know if that's why Bravo made her step down, because she didn't want to talk about her family on the show. She just wants to discuss people's family, which is not fair. So, um, me seeing Heavenly at BravoCon and just online on social media, Dr. Heavenly looks really sad. So it looks like the chickens have come home to roost. Like, she's getting her karma right before our eyes. Okay. She looks really sad. She looks very emotional. Like, even when she was live with Quad right before BravoCon and she teared up, she tried to make it seem like it was due to the conversation that they were having at the time. But in my opinion, Dr. Heavenly is dealing with something else really heavy behind the scenes, and it's not even about the show, in my opinion. So, and then they did show a clip where sometime in the future, Dr. Heavenly is going to confront her husband and she's going to ask him, if you can lie about something so serious, about what happened with our son, what else are you hiding? What else are you lying about? So I did hear that they were going to be talking about that whole situation with her son on this this season, not episode, because we've already seen the first episode and it wasn't there. So at some point on this season, they're going to talk about the situation that happened to Dr. Heavenly's son. I mean, they're already kind of speaking on it and putting him out there, his picture and everything, but sometime in the future, we're going to get feedback, hopefully, from Dr. Heavenly about the situation. So Dr. Heavenly has not been on her YouTube channel a lot, but I feel like Dr. Heavenly, if you're going to only be a friend of the show, which, that means that your check is going to be cut, you might as well go back on your YouTube channel and review the show or review whatever and talk about whatever, because obviously you had to be making a good bag for you to jeopardize, your spot on this show to gossip on your YouTube channel. So it had to be worth it for you to risk getting kicked off the show, which ultimately that's what's happening right now. Because even though you're a friend of the show, they might just be Xing you out altogether. And maybe this is kind of like a trial run to see whether or not they want to keep you. So um, I hope this, running for politics or whatever, I hope that, works out for you. I don't think that you're really into it because you're already seeming like you're intimidated about the whole thing. You don't want to really share, the real you, just like you don't on the show. So it just seems like even running for politics, you're just going to be faking the funk. You know what I'm saying? And being phony, and people will see right through that because they already have an image of you from this TV show. So if you come, trying to be fake and they already know who you really are, it's not going to go over well. So even though I don't really care for Quad, she did give you some great advice when she told you just to be yourself. Talk about how you grew up being on, public assistance, living in public housing, being poor, whatever the case may be, and the fact that you grew up in a home with no windows, just go ahead and keep it real. People can accept people that they can actually relate to. But if you come in there being bougie, acting like you're better than people, or whatever the case may be, they're not going to be able to relate to that. And they probably are not going to vote for you, Dr. Heavily, because at the end of the day, you did make a lot of enemies by being on this show. So if you decide not to come being real, then, you're probably going to sabotage your whole campaign. Just saying. So, yeah, guys, this is just episode one. So, you know, I'll probably decide after watching episode two if this is something that I want to continue to do. Um, I don't know, like the two new ladies, and then the one that was here last year, I forget her name because she's just not that relevant. It seems like she's trying to share more of herself, but it does seem like she's teaming up with Quad, and I don't like that for her. And she's hanging out with Quad all times of night, even though she's a married woman with kids, and Quad doesn't have kids. Mimi, that's her name, Mimi. But they were the hosts of the Polo event, which turned out pretty nice. Um, but it seems like there's already like people taking sides. So it seems like Mimi doesn't really care for she doesn't really care for Toya and Simone. It seems like Simone and Toya has kind of clicked off, and it seems like um Quad was able to invite some new friends to the show. So, she has a new clique. As a matter of fact, that's how the show, started showing, Quad hanging out with these newbies or whatever the case may be. So she really doesn't have to connect with the OGs on the show because they brought in new friends of Quads. So it's kind of putting a separation to the OGs that are already on the show. Obviously, Simone and Jackie have been friends for over 10 years or more at this point. So we always know that they're going to film together. That's cool. And at the current moment, Toya and Simone doesn't have any beef, so they can film together. But it's obvious that now Toya and Jackie has beef and Simone and Quad got beef. So it's going to make their cast trips and their couples trips very awkward this season unless they clean this up. So, and I forgot about Dr. Contessa. Ugh, she is just not really standing out for me. And the reason why I chose these four ladies for my thumbnail is because they just seem to be the most relevant on the show, if I'm being honest. They're the most relevant. And that's where pretty much they're going to be the ones holding down the show, carrying the show. These four ladies that you see pictured here. Whether that's going to be a good thing or not, because at the end of the day, Jackie and Simone are kind of boring at this point. Maybe they need to kind of move out the way so that the younger generations can take over the show. I don't know. They're my age, so I'm not age bashing at all. But I mean, they can only do so much without looking bad, making their reputation look bad, looking like they're desperate to be on this show and they're willing to risk it all. I just feel like they're too up in age to be risking it all for a reality TV show as married women. That's just my opinion. Okay. And maybe it's time to turn over the reins to the younger girls like Toya and Quad because they can always be coming with the smoke. And if Simone comes with the smoke, then she has to be in bed for 2 days because now she's worried about her reputation. Did she go too far? She has to feel guilty about that. So, do you really want to continue on this show? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to lose your medical license behind this show. You know, you're always at risk of that. You're at risk of being sued for different things. Like Dr. Jackie has been called out so many times for her statements that can affect her practice and her business. So at some point, they have to realize if it's really worth it. And I say all that also to say their husbands don't bring a lot to the table, which is why they're probably holding on to this show, unlike Toya. Her husband is bringing everything to the table. So she can go out there and risk it all. Same thing with Quad. She really doesn't have anything to lose, but you two ladies have everything to lose, you know. So you might want to think about that and make this your last season and just go ahead and retire while you're still on top for the most part because Dr. Heavenly, she kind of went out a little sad because she came on the show and thought she was the show. She thought she was the shit on the show. And now she's a friend of the show. And now, even though she didn't want to talk about her real life is being exposed and is probably going to continue to be exposed. So we don't know whether she chose to leave the show or to downgrade to a friend of the show or if it was done by Bravo. But to be honest, I could see where Dr. Heavenly decided to make that move because if they, found out about her son, whatever it is that her husband is hiding, that's going to come out as well. Okay. And at this point, I don't think that's what she wants. I really don't think that's what she wants. So who knows? So, guys, if I had to rate this episode, I would say it was probably a 6. Like, that polo party, the decorations were cool, but it wasn't really on the level that the rest of the cast members throw parties, okay? I would have rather that they showed Quad's party that she had the night before that they only showed clips of. Now that would have been something to see. She said her party was lit. But Mimi's party, on the other hand, it was a little boring. And the reason why it was boring is because Mimi is boring. Like, I don't think she's going to last on this show. She's boring. Her husband is boring. They don't have a real storyline. And even the way they did their so-called invitations on the grass greens, that was so boring. These ladies are so creative with their parties. So Mimi really doesn't fit in. Okay. She needs to go back and watch some previous episodes and seasons and step up her game. Okay. And all she can talk about is the after hours Mimi. Okay. Can we like see the after hours Mimi? Because right now you're looking very boring and all you want to do is talk about how you hang, but we've never seen it. Like, save it for the show. So maybe we can actually get to know you. We had our first glimpse of your 2 kids. That was cool, you know. But yeah, Mimi definitely needs to bring more to the table or she needs to get the boot. Like, Sweet Tea was definitely more interesting than her. And I get it. There was a conflict, so maybe either Quad or Sweet Tea had to go. I get it, but Mimi and her husband should have left with them, okay? They should have left too because they don't bring anything to the table. Hopefully, we'll get to see more from um what's the lady name? Cloud Clarissa, whatever her name is. She was very MIA on this scene. So, hopefully we'll get more from her. So guys, that's going to be it for this recap of Married to Medicine Season 12, Episode 1. And again, I'll just monitor the engagement to decide whether I will continue to recap this show. Because honestly, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. If I'm being honest, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. So we'll just have to see. Um, I'll watch it tonight. I guess it comes on Friday. I'll watch episode 2 and then I'll make a final decision. But guys, if you did not like the video on your way in, please like the video on your way out. And if you just happen to be catching the replay, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that you know each and every time I upload a video. Drop down in the comments so that we can keep this conversation going and I can get some feedback to see if you guys are actually watching the show. And thanks again for watching, and bye for now.